Ladies and gentlemen, let me share with you one of the greatest discoveries you can ever make. Nothing changes until you change, and nothing starts until you start. We often wait for the perfect time, the perfect plan, or the perfect opportunity. But let me tell you the truth. Perfection never comes. Life rewards action, not intention. You can think, you can dream, you can plan, but until you move, until you decide, until you act, nothing happens. You see, opportunity is like a door. It doesn't open because you stand in front of it wishing. It opens because you knock, you turn the handle, you step through. Action is the key that turns that handle. Many people say, someday I'll do it. But here's the problem, someday is not on the calendar. Monday is, Tuesday is, January is, but someday is not. If you want your future to change, you must claim it today. Don't wait another second, because every second you waste is a piece of your life you can never get back. Think about this small actions compound. A little discipline repeated each day creates massive results over time. The book you read today sharpens your mind tomorrow. The workout you do today builds your strength for tomorrow. The dollar you save today grows into wealth tomorrow, but only if you act. Now, don't confuse action with motion. Running in circles is motion. Action means moving with direction, with purpose. It means doing the thing that matters, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you don't feel like it. Life doesn't ask if you're ready. Life rewards those who are willing. The question is not, can you? The real question is, will you? Will you step up? Will you take the shot? Will you do what you know you should do? Let today be the day you decide. Not tomorrow, not next week, not someday. Today, decide to take the first step, however small. Because the first step creates momentum, and momentum creates transformation. Remember, this action is the seed, results are the harvest. If you plant nothing, you harvest nothing. If you plant a little, you harvest a little. But if you plant consistently, faithfully, boldly, the harvest will amaze you. So my challenge to you is simply stop waiting. Don't let fear, doubt, or excuses steal another moment of your life. Step forward, act now, because the power of taking action is the power to change your life. Don't wait another second. The time is now. Nothing changes until you act. This truth is simple, but it is the foundation of progress, success, and transformation. You can read every book, attend every seminar, and gather every piece of knowledge in the world, but without action, nothing happens. Life doesn't respond to what you know. It responds to what you do. Too often, people fall into the trap of endless preparation, waiting for the stars to align or for conditions to be perfect before they move forward. But perfection is an illusion. If you wait until you feel completely ready, you will wait your entire life. The moment you act, even if imperfectly, the world begins to shift. Think of a seed in the soil. It holds the potential to become a tree, but potential alone does not make it grow. The seed must break open, push through the dirt, and stretch toward the light. That is action. In the same way, your dreams and goals are seeds inside you. They are filled with potential, but until you plant them through action, they remain dormant. Many people live their entire lives with seeds that never sprout because they never had the courage to act. Taking action does not mean you have all the answers. It does not mean you will not make mistakes. In fact, mistakes are guaranteed. But mistakes are proof that you are trying, proof that you are learning. The person who never acts makes no mistakes, but they also make no progress. Failure is not the enemy, inaction is. With every step you take, even if you stumble, you gather experience, and experience becomes wisdom. Wisdom then guides you to better choices, and better choices lead to better results. But this entire chain begins only when you take action. It is easy to get stuck in the world of someday. Someday I'll start the business. Someday I'll write the book. Someday I'll get in shape. But someday is not real. There is no date on the calendar called someday. There is only today, and today is the only time you can act. Waiting for the right time is another way of saying you're afraid. Fear disguises itself as hesitation, caution, or endless preparation. But courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite fear. The act of taking the first step is what weakens fear and builds confidence. When you act, even in a small way, you create momentum. Momentum is powerful because it fuels itself. One push leads to another. One step creates the strength for the next. Think of a train when it is standing still. Even a small block on the track can hold it back. But once it builds speed, that same train can break through walls. Your life works the same way. At first, taking action feels heavy and difficult, but once you begin, the momentum carries you forward. That momentum opens doors you couldn't see before. Opportunities reveal themselves. People come into your life, and resources appear, all because you acted. Knowledge without action becomes wasted potential. Discipline without action becomes frustration. Desire without action becomes regret. How many people reach the end of their lives with heavy hearts, not because of what they did, but because of what they never tried? Regret is the price of inaction, and it is far heavier than the price of failure. Failure teaches, while regret simply lingers. The good news is you don't have to take massive leaps all at once. Small steps count. A page written today is progress toward a book. 10 minutes of exercise today is progress toward health. Saving a small amount of money today is progress toward financial freedom. Small, consistent actions repeated daily create results beyond imagination. The most successful people are not the ones who did everything perfectly. They are the ones who did something every single day without waiting for permission or perfection. Life will never hand you change on a silver platter. Life hands you the opportunity to act, and the rest is up to you. The greatest breakthroughs do not come from thinking about action, but from taking it. The idea may inspire you, but the step transforms you. When you act, you step into a new version of yourself. Someone braver, stronger, and more capable than before. Too many people spend their lives waiting for the perfect moment. They wait for the circumstances to be just right, for the stars to align, or for the world to hand them a clear path. But the truth is, the perfect moment rarely, if ever, arrives. Waiting for perfection is a trap that keeps dreams locked away, plans unfulfilled, and potential untapped. Life is lived in the imperfect, in the messy, in the moments where courage must overcome fear, and action must outweigh hesitation. If you wait for everything to be perfect, you will wait forever. Perfection is an illusion. It is a standard that exists only in the mind, a mirage that moves further away the closer you try to reach it. Waiting for perfect conditions is often just another form of procrastination. People tell themselves, "I will start when I am ready." But readiness is not a state that arrives fully formed. It is created through action. Each step you take prepares you for the next step. Every attempt you make, every effort you put in, is what turns hesitation into confidence. The perfect moment is not given, it is built. Consider the world around you. Nothing waits for the perfect conditions. Rivers carve valleys through solid rock, storms shape landscapes, and trees grow toward the light no matter the obstacles in their path. Nature does not pause for convenience or ease, it moves forward relentlessly. Life operates in the same way. Opportunities appear when you act, not when you wait. Action creates the conditions, rather than perfect conditions creating action. If you want to move forward, you must begin now, with what you have, where you are, and who you are. Waiting for perfection is often rooted in fear. Fear disguises itself as caution, patience, or prudence, but underneath it is the worry that you might fail or make a mistake. People say, "I don't have enough experience," "I don't have enough money," or "I don't know enough to start." But the truth is, no one ever starts with complete certainty. Experience is gained through action. Resources are found along the journey. and knowledge grows as you move forward. Every successful person has acted without everything being perfect. They learned along the way, adapted, and improved as they went. The first step is always the hardest, but it is also the most important. Once you take that initial step, momentum begins to build. You learn, you adjust, you refine, and opportunities start to reveal themselves. Waiting for perfection delays this momentum, and momentum is the fuel that propels you forward. A small step taken today is worth far more than a perfect plan executed tomorrow. The longer you wait, the more your dreams remain just ideas, and the longer your life remains untouched by progress. Perfection also limits creativity. When you wait for every detail to be flawless, you stifle innovation and imagination. Some of the most remarkable achievements in history were born out of imperfect conditions, trial and error, and sheer persistence. Mistakes are not failures. They are lessons that shape better strategies and stronger results. By insisting on perfection before action, you rob yourself of growth, learning, and the satisfaction of making real progress. Life is inherently unpredictable. Circumstances change, people come and go, and opportunities appear and disappear. Waiting for the perfect moment assumes that life will pause for your convenience, but life never pauses. Time moves forward, whether you act or not. The longer you wait, the more likely you are to miss the chance that could change everything. By starting now, you seize the momentum and shape the circumstances rather than being shaped by them. The perfect moment is a myth that keeps people from stepping into their potential. The truth is, the best time to start is now. Don't wait for ideal conditions, complete certainty, or full confidence. Take the imperfect step, make the imperfect plan, and move forward with courage. Life rewards those who act despite fear and uncertainty. The moment you start, the world begins to respond. Opportunities appear, confidence grows, and progress compounds. Waiting for perfection delays your journey. Acting imperfectly starts it. If you want to change your life, reach your goals, or fulfill your dreams, stop waiting. The perfect moment will never arrive, but the moment you choose to act right now is enough. The action itself creates the conditions for success, and momentum carries you farther than hesitation ever could. Don't wait. Start now, imperfectly if you must, because the only moment that matters is this one, and every great life begins with a single, imperfect step. Many people spend their lives chasing, someday I'll start that business, someday I'll write that book, someday I'll get in shape, someday I'll travel the world. Someday is the favorite word of procrastinators, dreamers, and the hesitant alike. It sounds harmless, even noble, as if it holds the promise of future achievement. But here's the hard truth. Someday is not on the calendar. It does not exist as a real date. It is a concept that keeps you waiting, postponing action, and delaying progress. Life does not wait for someday. It moves forward relentlessly. And if you let yourself live in someday, you will watch your life pass by without ever taking hold of it. The danger of someday is that it disguises fear as patience. You tell yourself, I'll do it when I'm ready. But readiness is not something that suddenly appears. No one ever feels 100% prepared to step into greatness. Waiting for that feeling is simply a way of avoiding discomfort and risk. The truth is that the person who waits for someday often never begins. They fill their lives with preparation, planning, and thinking, yet they fail to act. Someday becomes a perpetual excuse, a safe harbor that keeps them from confronting the challenges that action demands. If you look closely, you will see that someday is an illusion. The calendar has no such day. There is no button to press that makes someday arrive. There is only today. This very moment is the only time you truly have to move, to make decisions, and to create the life you desire. If you keep waiting for a day that does not exist, you will always be behind, always chasing, always hoping that life will pause long enough for you to catch up. Life will not pause. Life will not wait. Only action taken today produces results tomorrow. The concept of someday also robs you of momentum. Progress is built by steps taken consistently, by decisions made deliberately, and by action carried out without delay. When you live in the world of someday, you defer momentum. The habit of waiting teaches your mind to hesitate, and hesitation becomes a pattern. You grow accustomed to waiting for permission, waiting for circumstances to be perfect, waiting for the stars to align. Meanwhile, life goes on. Others who act seize opportunities, grow stronger, and build their futures, while the person waiting for someday remains stagnant. Another danger of someday is that it cultivates regret. Imagine looking back years from now and realizing that you never started because you were waiting for an imaginary day. That feeling of regret is heavy, and it cannot be erased. Failure is lighter because it teaches, mistakes show you how to improve. Someday, however, teaches nothing. It only steals the time you could have spent learning, growing, and achieving. The sooner you recognize that someday is not real, the sooner you can free yourself from its trap and take responsibility for your life. Action is the antidote to someday. Even the smallest step forward today is more powerful than planning endlessly for an undefined future. Writing a paragraph today is progress toward a book. Making one phone call today is progress toward a new opportunity. Exercising for 10 minutes today is progress toward health. These small acts compound over time, creating results that once seemed impossible. But nothing begins until you take the first step. Action transforms vague dreams into tangible realities, while waiting for someday leaves dreams just that, dreams. The truth is, someday is a thief. It steals time, energy, and potential. It lulls you into comfort while your life waits in the wings. Every day spent waiting for someday is a day you will never get back. If you want to create change, build success, or fulfill your dreams, you must abandon the word someday. Replace it with today, now, this moment. Commit to action, even if it is imperfect, even if you feel unprepared. The courage to begin, not the timing of your start, determines the trajectory of your life. There is power in realizing that today is all you have. Decisions made today shape tomorrow. Actions taken now create momentum that carries you further than hesitation ever could. Waiting for someday is a form of surrender. Acting today is a declaration of control. The life you dream of is not waiting for a mythical day. It is waiting for you to step into it, one action at a time. Someday will never come, and today is enough to begin. Take the first step. Make the first decision. Speak the first word. Write the first line. Move, act, and create. Because someday is not on the calendar, but this moment is. And if you start today, every tomorrow will be brighter, fuller, and closer to the life you have imagined. Small actions compound into big results. This principle is simple, yet it is one of the most powerful forces in life. People often underestimate the power of small steps because they look for instant results or dramatic transformations. They want the change to be obvious, immediate, and overwhelming. But real, lasting success is rarely built in a single moment of brilliance or a sudden stroke of luck. It is built quietly, steadily, one small action at a time. The tiny steps you take today, repeated consistently over weeks, months, and years, add up to extraordinary outcomes. Think of a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it is small, almost invisible. It picks up only a little snow as it moves. But as it continues, it gathers more snow, grows larger, and gains speed. By the time it reaches the bottom of the hill, it has transformed into a massive force. The principle of compounding works the same way in life. Each small, seemingly insignificant decision, habit, or action contributes to the overall outcome. Writing one page today becomes a completed book in a year. Saving a small amount each week becomes financial security in a decade. Exercising for 10 minutes a day builds strength and stamina over time. The challenge is that people often look for immediate validation. If they do not see results right away, They become discouraged and give up. They forget that the most important changes are gradual and invisible at first. Just as seeds do not sprout the day they are planted, the effort you put in today may not yield instant results, but it is working beneath the surface. Each small action strengthens your skills, your mindset, and your habits. The results are accumulating quietly, and when the time comes, the change appears as if by magic. Consistency is the key to compounding. It is not enough to take one good action or make a single effort. You must repeat it day after day with discipline and focus. Consistency turns a simple action into a habit, and habits shape your character and your life. For example, reading 10 pages every day may seem insignificant, but over a year, it becomes 350 pages. That is more than 10 books, and the knowledge, insight, and perspective you gain are immense. Small actions repeated consistently create leverage, multiplying your results far beyond what you might expect. Compounding also works in relationships and personal influence. Small acts of kindness, encouragement, and support may seem minor in the moment, but over time, they build trust, loyalty, and strong connections. A single kind word or thoughtful gesture may not change much today, but repeated acts of care create deep bonds and a positive reputation that opens doors in ways you could not anticipate. Just like financial or personal growth, the effects of consistent positive action in relationships accumulate and transform the lives of both the giver and the receiver. The principle of compounding applies to mistakes as well. Small, repeated errors, procrastination, or poor choices can compound into failure. This is why attention to detail, discipline, and mindful action are critical. Every choice matters, and even minor decisions, when repeated over time, shape the trajectory of your life. The same power that builds success, when applied positively, can build setbacks if ignored or mismanaged. Awareness and intentionality turn small actions into a tool for achievement rather than a source of loss. The beauty of compounding is that it does not require extraordinary effort. You do not need to perform heroic feats or take massive risks. What is required is persistence, patience, and the courage to begin. A single step, taken consistently, becomes unstoppable over time. The process may be slow, but the results are exponential. Small actions feed on themselves, creating momentum, confidence, and skill. Each step makes the next step easier, and before long, the progress that once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. The principle of small actions compounding into big results teaches a profound lesson. Your life is the sum of your daily choices. Every day, in small ways, you are either moving toward your goals or drifting away from them. The power to change, improve, and succeed lies not in sudden transformation, but in consistent, purposeful action. Patience, discipline, and persistence turn tiny steps into monumental achievements. Never underestimate what one small action can start. Begin today, do something, no matter how minor it seems, and repeat it consistently. Over time, the results will surprise you, the growth will astonish you, and the life you envisioned will emerge, not from a single grand act, but from the relentless power of small actions compounded over time. Action must have purpose. It is not enough to be busy or to fill your days with movement and activity. Without a clear sense of direction, even the most energetic efforts can be wasted. Purpose gives meaning to your actions, aligns your efforts with your goals, and ensures that each step you take brings you closer to the life you desire. People often mistake motion for progress, thinking that being active automatically leads to results. But without intention, action can be random, scattered, and ultimately fruitless. Purpose transforms action from mere effort into powerful momentum. Purpose begins with clarity. You cannot act with direction if you do not know where you want to go. Goals are the map, and purpose is the compass. Without clarity, you drift from task to task, reacting to circumstances rather than shaping your own life. Consider someone who wants to improve their health, exercising without understanding why, whether it is to increase energy, build strength, or reduce stress, may lead to inconsistent habits and lack of results. When the action is tied to a clear purpose, motivation becomes stronger, discipline becomes easier, and the results are meaningful. Every purposeful action creates leverage. It multiplies over time because it is aligned with your objectives. Small, intentional efforts compound into significant achievements. Writing a single paragraph each day toward a goal, practicing a skill regularly, or making deliberate choices in your career may seem minor in isolation, but each contributes to the larger vision. Purpose ensures that your energy is not dissipated on trivial tasks or distractions, but is focused on what truly matters. This is why the most successful people are not always the busiest. They are the most intentional. They channel their efforts where they will have the greatest impact. Purpose also fuels resilience. Challenges, setbacks, and obstacles are inevitable in any worthwhile pursuit. When action is random or aimless, obstacles can feel insurmountable, discouraging, or pointless. But when your actions have purpose, difficulties become tests of commitment rather than reasons to quit. The purpose behind your actions provides a reason to persist, to adapt, and to overcome. It becomes the anchor that keeps you grounded and motivated when external circumstances are difficult or unpredictable. Moreover, purpose prevents wasted effort. Many people measure success by how much they do rather than by what they achieve. Hours of activity may leave someone feeling exhausted yet empty because the energy expended lacked direction. Purpose gives every action significance. It ensures that each decision, each step, and each effort contributes meaningfully to the outcome you desire. Even small actions gain power when they are connected to a clear purpose. Purpose turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Purpose is also contagious. When your actions are intentional, others notice. Purpose inspires collaboration, builds trust, and attracts support. People are drawn to those who act with meaning because their energy is consistent and reliable. Leaders who act with purpose influence not only their own success, but also the success of those around them. Purpose-driven action resonates and multiplies far beyond the individual. It is important to recognize that purpose is not static. Life changes, goals evolve, and circumstances shift. This requires reflection and adjustment. Purposeful action does not mean rigidly following a plan without awareness. It means continually aligning what you do with what matters most, making choices that reflect your values and long-term objectives. When your actions are intentionally recalibrated, purpose remains strong even as the journey unfolds in unexpected ways. Purpose also brings satisfaction and fulfillment. Action without purpose may lead to results, but those results often feel hollow. When your efforts are connected to something larger than immediate gratification, work becomes meaningful, and achievement becomes deeply rewarding. Fulfillment is not in mere activity. It is in purposeful activity that contributes to growth, impact, and progress towards something you value. Finally, purpose transforms ordinary moments into opportunities. A purposeful person sees each task, conversation, and decision as a chance to move closer to their goal. Even mundane actions gain significance because they are connected to a larger vision. Purpose ensures that nothing is wasted and everything contributes to growth. It allows action to be directed, focused, and effective. Action must have purpose. Without it, effort is scattered, energy is lost, and potential remains unfulfilled. But when your actions are guided by clarity, aligned with your goals, and fueled by intention, every step becomes meaningful. Every challenge becomes an opportunity, and every day moves you closer to the life you desire. Purpose transforms simple effort into powerful momentum, creating a life of achievement, growth, and fulfillment. Life rewards the willing, not just the capable. Too often, people believe that talent, intelligence, or natural ability alone determines success. While skill and capability are important, they are not enough. Life favors those who are willing to act, to step forward, to try, and to persist despite fear, doubt, and uncertainty. Willingness, the courage to engage, to take risks, and to commit, is the engine that turns potential into results. Without it, capability remains dormant, untested, and ultimately unfulfilled. Willingness requires a mindset of action. Many capable people wait for the right moment, hoping circumstances will align perfectly before they move. They prepare endlessly, analyze every detail, and hesitate at the threshold of opportunity. Meanwhile, those who are willing, even if less skilled or experienced, step forward and take action. They understand that progress comes through movement, that mistakes are part of learning, and that experience is earned by engaging rather than waiting. Willingness is a choice, and it is often more powerful than raw talent. Consider the countless examples of people who achieved great success not because they were the most gifted, but because they were willing to act. They were willing to endure discomfort, to put in the work, and to persist when others gave up. They were willing to fail, to learn, and to try again. In many cases, capability is a prerequisite, but willingness is the differentiator. Skills can be developed, knowledge can be acquired, but the willingness to act is what triggers growth and creates opportunity. Willingness also fuels resilience. Life is unpredictable and full of obstacles. Capability alone does not guarantee that a person will endure setbacks or continue in the face of challenges. Willing people push through barriers, adapt to circumstances, and maintain momentum even when results are slow or uncertain. They view difficulties not as reasons to quit, but as opportunities to learn and improve. The willingness to persist turns obstacles into stepping stones, while the capable who lack determination may falter at the first sign of resistance. Action, fueled by willingness, also builds confidence and competence. The more you engage, the more you learn, and the more capable you become. Willingness creates a cycle of growth. Taking action leads to experience, experience develops skill, and skill opens doors to further opportunity. Capability grows in proportion to the courage and willingness to try. Without the initial step of willingness, even the most talented person may never reach their potential because they never start, never risk, and never engage fully with life. Willingness often requires stepping outside of comfort zones. People naturally resist uncertainty and fear failure. Those who wait for perfect conditions or absolute readiness rarely act, and they miss the rewards that come from boldness. Life favors those who are willing to face the unknown, to take imperfect action, and to learn from mistakes. This is why willingness can often outweigh capability. It is the willingness to act, to show up, and to persevere that ultimately separates those who achieve from those who watch from the sidelines. Moreover, willingness inspires others. When you are willing to act, you attract support, collaboration, and opportunities. People respond to energy, initiative, and commitment. Willing individuals often create momentum, not only for themselves but for those around them. Capability without willingness may be invisible, while willingness, even with limited skill, can spark influence, connection, and progress. Your willingness signals determination and reliability, qualities that open doors and attract resources in ways talent alone cannot. The lesson is clear: waiting until you feel fully capable or perfectly prepared is a trap. Life does not reward potential left unused. It rewards those who are willing to take the first step, to engage with effort and persistence, and to keep moving even when the path is uncertain. Willingness transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. It is the catalyst that turns ideas into achievements, goals into reality, and dreams into tangible outcomes. To succeed, one must cultivate a willingness to act consistently, to learn from experience, and to embrace challenges with courage. Capability may give you a foundation, but it is willingness that builds the house. Skill without action is dormant. Knowledge without effort is wasted. Energy without direction is lost. Willingness activates all these qualities, unlocking the full potential within you and creating opportunities that would otherwise remain inaccessible. Life rewards the willing, not just the capable. The person who steps forward, tries, persists, and adapts will move further than the one who merely possesses talent, but does nothing. Willingness is the spark that ignites progress, the bridge between potential and accomplishment, and the force that turns ordinary people into achievers. It is the decision to act, to risk, and to persist that ultimately determines who succeeds in life. Action plants the seeds for the harvest. Every accomplishment, every success, and every transformation begins with a single step, a deliberate effort, or a choice to move forward. Too often, people underestimate the value of starting small, believing that only monumental efforts yield meaningful results. Yet, it is the consistent, purposeful action taken today that sows the seeds for tomorrow's achievements. Without planting, there can be no growth. Without action, the harvest remains a dream, nothing more than a vision in your mind. Every goal you have, no matter how large or ambitious, begins with an initial act. Writing a single paragraph starts a book. Making one phone call begins a network. Investing a small sum begins financial growth. These small acts may seem insignificant in the moment, but they are the seeds of something far greater. The harvest, the outcome you seek, is only possible because of the effort and action you take. Each decision, each effort, each step is a seed planted, waiting to grow into results that will exceed what you imagined. Action creates momentum. A seed once planted begins a process of growth that cannot be reversed. Watering, sunlight, and care determine the quality and speed of its development, just as consistent effort, focus, and discipline shape the results of your actions. When you act, even imperfectly, you set forces into motion. Momentum builds gradually, compounding over time. What starts as a small step eventually becomes progress so significant it can no longer be ignored. Waiting, hesitation, or inaction leaves potential dormant, and the harvest never comes because nothing was ever planted. The principle of planting and harvesting also teaches patience. Seeds do not sprout the day they are planted. They require time, care, and consistent nurturing. In the same way, results from action rarely appear immediately. The work you put in today may not produce visible results tomorrow, but it is laying the foundation for future success. Understanding this relationship between effort and delayed reward is critical. Success is a process, not an event. The harvest may seem distant, but every step you take now is bringing it closer. Action is not only the beginning of the harvest, but also the measure of commitment. Planting seeds requires intentionality. Random, inconsistent actions rarely bear fruit. Purposeful effort, repeated consistently, ensures that what you plant grows into something meaningful. Discipline, focus, and persistence act like sunlight and water, nurturing the seeds you have planted. Without regular care, even the best seeds can fail to flourish. The same is true in life. Effort without direction or consistency may produce little, while committed, purposeful action builds results that multiply over time. Failure is part of the planting process. Not every action leads to immediate success, and some seeds may fail to grow. But even failure teaches valuable lessons. A seed that does not sprout informs you about the soil, the care, or the timing required. Similarly, setbacks and mistakes in your efforts are feedback, guiding you to refine your approach, strengthen your skills, and improve your strategy. The willingness to plant again after failure separates those who eventually reap the harvest from those who give up prematurely. The harvest is not only about personal gain, it is about impact. The seeds you plant through your efforts can create ripple effects far beyond your own life. Knowledge shared, kindness extended, mentorship offered, or service provided can influence countless others, multiplying the results of your actions in ways you may never fully see. Every purposeful action, no matter how small, contributes to a larger network of growth and opportunity. To achieve a meaningful harvest, one must act decisively and consistently. Planning, dreaming, and thinking are important, but they are inert without action. Every time you choose to do something productive, to take a step toward your goal, you are planting seeds. Over time, these seeds grow into the results, opportunities, and success you desire. Waiting for perfect conditions or ideal circumstances only delays the planting and postpones the harvest. Action plants the seeds for the harvest, the life you envision, the goals you aspire to, and the achievements you desire all begin with movement. Every step you take, every effort you make, and every decision to act is a seed that has the potential to grow into something remarkable. If you want a fruitful future, start planting today. Nurture your efforts with persistence, patience, and purpose, and the harvest will come, abundant and rewarding beyond your imagination.